What is up, everybody? I'm Jay, and welcome back to the house. I'm glad you decided to join me. Today we're doing some more deconstruction. We are putting more holes in this floor. Today, what we're gonna do is we are going to cut out this kitchen floor. We are going to start digging out the crawl space so that I can access the plumbing. Now, the plumbing is mainly from this part in the kitchen where the sink used to be, and there's some old washer and dryer hookups right there. We need to take them all out. They're all galvanized and extremely corroded and rusted. So we're gonna be replacing that with PEX as soon as I can get this place cleaned out and ready to install new plumbing. We're going to start cutting along this seam right here. You can see all the boards are nailed down to that joist. That way we'll stay away from the wall and get a good feel for what's actually going on under the house. I'm going to move on over to this line and start cutting there as well. That's where we're going to probably run into having to avoid the gas line and probably some electrical. I think there's some electrical lines run under the house. We'll peel all this up and just start digging. I chose those two lines to cut on for a couple of reasons. One is I didn't want to get too close to the wall with my first cut. I wanted to have a little bit of margin for error in case I didn't get a good cut line the first time. We're going to have to go back and cut a cleaner line down the center of the joist. That way we can butt up the old subfloor with the new subfloor. I ended up cutting right on the inside of where the joist and the subfloor connected so that the floor that was left would be fully supported.
That does look sketchy.
Is that from termites, do you think?
Nope.
After making the cut line, we started pulling up the old flooring. It was very easy to remove. The nails were old, some of the heads were breaking off of them, and honestly, most of the wood was pretty soft. Just a little bit of prying and the boards would snap, or they would come completely detached from the joists underneath. I didn't know what to expect when pulling up this subfloor, but I did not think that it would be so brittle. Most of the boards you could pull up by hand, or they would just snap in half. I don't know why old wood was doing this. Maybe it was the fact that it had been under the crawl space for so long, or it could have just been the type of wood. While we work on prying up the subfloor, I'm going to go ahead and take a point to say, if you want to follow this renovation from start to finish, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. I'm going to be posting videos weekly about the progress. Go ahead and like the video for the YouTube algorithm, and I look forward to reading your comments below. Once you have the first few boards of the subfloor up, the rest becomes much easier. You can get around the boards that you need to try to pry off, and, well, you have a better place to stand for more leverage. In our case, the subfloor is not deep. You can tell that now. The top of the joist is still below my knee, which means that if I were to try to crawl under this space in the crawl space, it would probably leave me about maybe 12 inches or so. Not a lot of room to get under. I left a healthy gap on this cut as well. What I'll probably end up doing is coming back and cutting right up against the line with the hardwood flooring that you see there in the bottom right of the screen. For now, I just want to get these boards removed, and then I will cut clean lines whenever I'm ready to put down the subflooring.
Angle you can find. This is one of the easier things I think I've done.
That beam right there is the center point of the house. It's two 2x6s sistered together sitting on piers. The joists at that point overlap side by side and are stretching from one side of the house to the other. The termite damaged joist, which I showed in the previous video, which I'll go ahead and link now, is sitting on that center beam. So if I replace that joist, I'm going to need to replace it all the way over to that center line. Once we got the flooring up, it was just a matter of removing the soft topsoil before we got down to the hard clay underneath. Our soil here has a lot of clay and is packed very tightly. It doesn't help that this has been sitting dry for 70 years, and so we had to go get a pick Maddox to break this ground up so we could remove it. I had a lot of fun joking about doing yard work in my kitchen while I was doing this. I'm going to spare you those jokes and not put that audio in. Our goal with digging was to get down to about 24 inches from the top of the joist, maybe even a little bit more. We want to have ample room if we ever need to come under the house and do more repairs. While digging, we did stay away from the piers. We don't want to get too close to those and potentially let the flooring shift. We stayed at least 12 inches away from footings and piers and then dug out at an angle from there until we could reach our maximum depth. Here you can see there's a big old root coming in from that sycamore tree out back. I couldn't get the thing to budge and couldn't find the other end of it. I imagine it goes all the way under the house and back out the other side. Luckily this isn't a big root. I have seen some gigantic roots going under houses before, and they can shift and crack the entire foundation. I'm not concerned about this one, seeing as he's so small. I did end up cutting him off and pulling him out of that space a little later on. Since we only had one shovel, I was doing the digging and she was pulling nails left over from the paneling out of the wall. We're going to need these studs to be clean for whenever we put up new drywall. Any leftover nails are going to either puncture through or rip the back or just keep you from putting it on flat at all. The hot and cold water supply lines run along this footing and back against the wall to the left until you get to the water closet. Both of those drains go out from underneath the footing individually. We'll have to do a bit of digging in the yard to make sure that the lines that go into the septic tank are replaced with PVC. Since I could see where the last floor joist fell in relation to the wall, I felt confident to go ahead and widen the space over a little bit more. I could do a bit more digging and access the plumbing a bit easier from this point. The closer to the footing you got, the softer the clay was. Heavy precipitation could get underneath the footer and soften the clay, allowing it to expand and contract. It made it much easier to dig here versus the center of the house. So here I am digging in the house, and look what I found. Yeah, that was buried before I uncovered the topsoil. So just be aware that whenever you're digging under a house, there could be rogue electrical lines. That's why I turned the power off to everything before I dig. I'll flip it on when I need to use a power tool, but for the most part, leave everything off. You don't want to run into something like that and end up going to the hospital. When it comes to work like this, progress is made bucket by agonizingly slow bucket at a time. My whole day of work can be summarized in that pile of dirt. I thought I had done more than this. By the end of the day, we removed about 6 to 8 inches from the entire crawl space with a little more focused near the plumbing. What are you doing?
What am I doing?
What are you doing?
I'm waiting for you.
Makes sense.
I'll do it. So
So this is where we're calling it a day. We were able to remove this entire subfloor in the kitchen and start digging out the space that we need to have, an accessible crawl space in here. We found out that all the pipes for the water supply go down and then actually follow the footing over there to the left. All of the drain lines that are going out from the house, they're going down around the footing and then out into the yard. So we have multiple points of exit underneath this footing over here. I'm not sure if that's going to be a problem whenever we replace those lines, but I'll ask a plumber what their thoughts are on that. We were able to get this part, this furthest part closest to the plumbing, down about 2 foot deep from the top of the joists. That's acceptable. Back on the other end of the house, that's about how deep it is under there. It's enough room to maneuver. It's not comfortable, but you can absolutely get to everything you need. I'm gonna pick up next time with doing some more digging to make sure that I can get this entire area ready to plumb. So that's it for this time. I hope you enjoyed yourself. I know that I sure did. If you want to follow this renovation, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. If you liked anything you saw, hit the like button. And if you have questions or comments about anything I'm doing in this process, leave them in the comments below. I'm going to be watching that and I'd love to get your feedback. With that said, I'm calling this day a wrap. See you next time. I'm done. We can go.
Okay.
I want to go home.
I'll follow myself.
No, I'm ready to go home. Shocking realization that you are home. Don't forget to sub, like, and comment, and I'll see you next time.